So recession. We've had Deutsche Bank now calling a recession in the U.S. Toward the end of 2023. We've got Bank of America now as well. In your view, is recession A, an inevitability as we see this rapid rate hike and quantitative tightening cycle? B, if it is it the bitter pill that perhaps needs to be swallowed?
Yeah, that's a really interesting debate that in markets at the moment, particularly as you say, some of the big investment banks have started to predict that there'll be generally a mild recession in order to contain inflation, which is too high for central banks at the moment. You've also seen prominent speakers like ex-Fed officials such as Larry Summers suggesting that a recession is nailed on, given where the unemployment rate is and where inflation is, looking back to the 50s in terms of US history. So for us, I mean, it's very, very difficult to forecast the macroeconomic environment. It's very, very difficult to time when you see business cycle slowdowns and when they inevitably enter into a recessionary type of environment. But the concerns are certainly there. So we are watching very, very closely. It is an environment where you are having liftoff from emergency policy stances, both on the fiscal side and the monetary side. And it's something that obviously has markets jittery at the moment, particularly bond and equity markets.
And rightfully so, right? Particularly when we continue to watch inflationary pressures building. I mean, some of the heat has come out of energy markets in particular, but if you look at food price inflation, it's off the charts. I mean, yeah. I saw something online today that Aldi in some parts of the US are having to take meat off the shelves and put it, behind the counter because it's being stolen.
And it's not only the developed world that is facing higher soft commodity prices and agricultural prices, but also when you consider the emerging world and how much of the average individual's income is spent on food. It's over 30-40% of their weekly wage bill. Indeed, it led to the Arab Spring that we saw in 2011, 2012. So it is an environment where you have these supply side constraints coupled with a huge influx of demand as economies have reopened and opened up again, and people are generally have experienced higher incomes. Unemployment rates are low, so they're getting a good wage. We're starting to see wage pressures build and come through, particularly in the United States. So it is an environment where historically central banks have been there to save you, the central bank put. However, this hawkish turn has got people a little bit nervous.